Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today, I actually get something running. Look at the smoke coming off. Tag along. So I've given myself 5 days here to get this up and running. And the unfortunate fact is I've been held up because of parts. So I was waiting on a fan and some spark plugs for this. So now that is all in, so I should be able to get this at least running and fired up. The hope was to get it moving under its own power in these 5 days, but again, because I had to wait for parts, and I kind of messed around a little bit on today, which is day 4. I kind of messed around a little bit. I went to go pick up a part that turns out not to be right. And anyways, went through and met my new best friend, Mike, Beaumont Mike, picking up some parts from him. And anyways, maybe found another car. But we're back on this. I'm going to get going and hopefully get this thing fired up. So tag along with me. So I got a lot of stuff done off camera, got the other water pump put on, got the power steering moved and put up a little bit higher. I got my linkage for my throttle cable done up, figured out my alternator wiring in that. I hope this is going to work, the wiring, and my brackets for that. So all that stuff I did off camera, put the fuel line in. So now we're just getting down to the nitty gritty here of putting stuff back on, and we should be getting very, very close here. I had someone message me and ask me, actually one of my buddies said, aren't you going to paint the water pump and stuff? And it is. This is cast iron. I don't know, I just like to paint it with cast iron paint. You get it from VHT. It's their engine color. So that's what that is. So I've got the front buttoned up, I've got the fan on, I've got the radiator in, locked down, power steering. We had a bit of a disaster with the power steering, switching up the hoses, and forgot that I had changed out a fitting on this on the newer style GM. So this motor was in a G body before, a Malibu, 1980 Malibu, and the fitting for the power steering box is different. It's got an O-ring on the end versus just a flare fitting. So I had to change the fitting in the back of the pump to go in that car. Well then, anyways, I had forgotten and then changed it back. So a little bit of disaster, power steering fluid all over the place, but we got that buttoned up. Then I got the headers on, spark plugs in on this side because they weren't in. So I'm just putting on the last spark plug boot and just wanted to sort of talk to you about this. You can see already I'm having some issues. I'm going to have to figure out, maybe just loop this up through here or something to try and hold it away from these darn headers. It is a bit of a bear trying to keep the stuff away. I like these DEI boots on here to protect the ends of the spark plug wires, because you can see these you know, DEI boots are basically right up against the header, so they'll protect the end of the wires. Now these Taylor wires, I love the Taylor wires, but one downfall to them, especially when I use my shorty plugs, let me show you. So I always use these shorty header plugs. Now this car happens to be the larger style with the washer, these cylinder heads, because it's a 1969 Chevy block, so it's got the bigger plugs in it. Anyways, 300 horse cylinder heads, good cylinder heads. But they have these big, anyways, I use these shorty spark plugs. So these are XL 437S. I hope the new ones that I got are the same. Yes. And anyways, you can get them also for the tapered seat plugs. I've got some of those in the back, but they're much shorter. I'll show you against a regular plug here. Here's a regular spark plug. Hopefully you guys can see that. And there's my shorty. So basically the regular one stops up here, and the shorty you can see is just a bit shorter. And what that allows you to do is get in behind the headers with the spark plug wires easier. So when you're putting on these Taylor spark plug wire boots, it's always good to twist them as they're going on, because oftentimes you'll push it on and you'll think you'll hear it click, but it will either pop back on or it's not actually clicked on all the way. So I always make sure as I'm putting them on, I give them a twist to get that boot onto them, especially, I don't know if it's just these shorty plugs or whatever I find are harder, but I twist and push and try and get that boot on there. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to pull my covering back down. Now what I've got to do is just try and figure out this a little bit better. That should stay up there. You can see at some point in the other car this was burnt. It hit the header, but this should be okay. And anyways, I just want to get this thing fired up. So I'm about ready to fire this thing up. I've got fluids back in this. I've got no engine oil in it, no tranny fluid. So we're going to get that button back up. The other thing that I need to do is figure out what wire, which it should be this one, goes to the distributor. And I think it's this one, but it doesn't, anyways, it doesn't really matter for now because I don't have the steering column in it and the key in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hook up my trigger, if I can find it, and I'm going to hook up just a power wire to the coil, to the distributor. So I've got to get that buttoned up now. I'm going to put some fluids in it, and I'll bring you guys back in once I do that. All right, so just going to check the oil here. Yep, right in the middle, so I will leave that. I did fill the oil filter before I put it in, but that soaks up a bit, so we'll just leave that for now. I'm going to say that's good, and we can, I've got coolant in it, water and coolant. Oh, I need to put some power steering fluid back in it. That's going to be empty. Don't run that pump dry. Yep. Yeah. Transmission's got some fluid in it, and of course the transmission dipstick broke. Well, that'll be fun. Anyways, we'll try and salvage this as best we can for now. But that ugly dipstick tube, I'll change it out later for something a little bit nicer. But now what I got to do is I have to put power steering fluid in, like I said, and get a battery over here. I need to make a negative cable to hook up to the block. So we're going to do that right now. Well, I wanted to make up a new cable, but of course I did something with my new cable that I had. So I'm just going to use this one that came off of another motor out back. Now, no sparks. That's a good sign. Don't see any smoke. Do you guys see smoke? Alright. Now unfortunately, like I said, I don't have the column in it. So I don't have the key in it to crank the key. But I'll get my jump starter hooked up and see if she'll crank over. Got it hooked up underneath. Oh, I gotta put power steering fluid. Okay. Oh, more than full. That's perfect. Now where's the cat? What? Oh, right there. Okay. Now we should be good to crank this over. Hook this up. Up here. Hopefully this battery's a juice. Hey, look at that! Alright, so now we gotta get power to the distributor. Okay, are we ready? So what I've got done now is a put it on the floor. A wire from the distributor that I will bring over here. Look on here with an alligator clip, so if something happens I can pull it off. And I've got some fuel here. So we're gonna squirt this down here. Fill up the bowls. That's not good. Put it all over the place. Alright. It's all over me. It's all over the carb. Should be loud. Alright, let's see what happens. Oh. Want to come in closer. Yeah. Come in closer. Yeah. Alright. So let's see what happens. Covered me. Oh, that's really not good. Oh, now I need a power steering box. Alright, well, let's just pull those hoses off, I guess. Oh, I guess I could just pull the belt off. And I wouldn't make a mess. Well, I guess that's just what happens. I mean, what's happened is obviously this thing sat outside and the, no hoses in the power steering box filled up with water and then froze. Since I've owned it, it hasn't sat outside. It's been in here the whole time. So I know it wasn't while I owned it. But obviously a previous owner, that was an issue. That sucks. Where's my sturdy? Oh, right here. Wonder if I should put gas in the tank. What do you think? Oh, I got a lifter ticking. That's not fun. But it has been sitting for a year, so I'm not surprised. On Edelbrock card, this is where you fill the bowls from, by the way. That's what I'm doing. Alright, so obviously it's burning stuff off. I did paint these headers with the header coating. You're supposed to get them hot, shut it off, let it cool off, and then fire it up again, shut it off, cool it off, do all that kind of stuff. So anyways, that's a good sign, but obviously I need a power steering box, so this thing's going nowhere anytime soon anyways. There we go. I mean, it runs. Oh, I know what's going on too. I forgot to plug a couple vacuum hoses. Hey, and please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, add some comments, tell me what you think, what you don't think, what would you have done a little bit different here, your tips and tricks on some stuff. And anyways, thanks for tagging along, and we'll see you again next time.